All right, welcome. Thanks for watching, and we're here to welcome Ed Hermsen to the team. Ed and I have known each other for a long time. My first housing job was at the Fort Collins Housing Authority before it turned into Housing Catalyst. The program there was home ownership, so we helped people on with Section 8 rental vouchers transition into home ownership. One of the funny things in that market space is there weren't lenders available. And so the product is available so that the person can go get a loan, but there's no bank willing to offer the loan. So it was a pretty amusing space. And that's really where Ed and I met, is he was willing to figure it out. Try to get his bank to give loans to people who didn't have loans available to them. That's where we met.
That was it. And I was fairly new to the mortgage business. I was probably 2 or 3 years into the mortgage business, but I quickly learned that, you know, if every deal had to be easy, then that would not be the way that I wanted to do the business. So I like the opportunity of learning these new products and helping people. And you see the passion of these people, how hard they work. They just want a house. They just want a house, and which really led me into that space of, you know, work with the city of Fort Collins and down payment assistance, and CHAFA. I was one of the top CHAFA guys forever, Colorado Housing Finance Authority. So I did a lot of CHAFA loans too. So I really kind of became that guy in Northern Colorado for a long time in that space for the first-time homebuyer classes.
And then first-time homebuyer classes.
Yeah.
So we have both been neighbor to neighbors first-time homebuyer roster for a long time. It's funny, there's not a lot of coordination. Ed's section is like 3 hours of teaching, and then people have lunch. And then after lunch, I get him for like an hour, the fun part. So that was, he had to do all the heavy lifting, and I got to have the fun through that teaching. That was another space.
But those classes, it was a great opportunity for us to like really, I mean, there were 40, 50 people in these classes. It wasn't like 5 or 6. And it was packed with information, but a lot of good questions afterwards. And it was just really well designed. I encourage anybody, if they haven't taken that class, to look into it. It's through neighbor to neighbor, and it's fabulous. It's a great way to really get educated, and it's a, you know, third party neutral piece. So I like that they offer the full day package in that. So
yeah, I would agree. If you're planning on buying in the next 5 years, just go take the class. It's great information. It'll get your brain spinning in the right direction, and it'll give you that kind of unbiased opinion from everybody instead of, you know, maybe your lender or your agent. So
agreed. Yeah.
So as we get to welcome Ed to the team, it's like we're welcoming somebody who has more knowledge than the team to the team, right? And so Ed brings with him knowledge that's well beyond what we have among us already. So that's a great asset to have in your brain joining us and your energy joining us. So thanks for that. Some of the things that you want to be a resource to people for are?
Yeah, I mean, for me, you know, I've been in mortgage banking forever, so I started getting into buying commercial property outside of Colorado. I was that guy that had my single family homes in Fort Collins, and that was all great. But then I realized, if I'm going to take this to scale, I mean, if I really want passive real estate income to make that money for me and my family, that I don't have to work if I don't want to, then I knew I had to look at something bigger. So that single family duplex, that gave me the opportunity to build up the equity, but then looking at what I can take that asset in and build something bigger is really what I was searching for. And I didn't do that on my own. I read books, I went to webinars, I went to seminars, I paid a lot of money to get educated and take the right classes to learn that. So that, to say that I did that, is because I just watched other people were doing, and I said, I want to learn how to do that. Now, I was committed in goals and setting those goals and doing those numbers. I didn't do any of these myself either. When I bought my single family house, I could buy that by myself. But you go buy an apartment building, an RV park, you've got to have a team of people. You've got to have that accountability there. So that's really what I was excited to see, taking it from the single family, learning how to buy, let's go out of state. That sounds like a big step. It was a big step.
Huge.
But I think as you look at a market, you can't just say Northern Colorado. You've got to say, what in the United States, where should I be at? And really get educated.
Yeah, I think one of the things that Ed said there that it may get lost if you're not, if we didn't have a marker board writing it down, was he had a goal, right? Ed had a goal, and he wanted real estate to be the vehicle to achieve the goal. And so that's how he's going to work with you. That's how we all work with you as our team. We're like, what is your goal? What do you want? And if you say, hey, my goal is to have income from investment properties of X amount in 3 years. Great, we're going to show you a path to get to that goal. What do you have today? How do we move your assets around? What can we look at to help you get where you want to go? And for Ed, that journey was all over the country, right?
It was.
You know, in properties in 4 different states now?
Yep. And again, coming from the mortgage background, I learned how to set up those packages just like you do for a home loan. It's much more intense when you're trying to put a package together buying a commercial property. When you're pitching your product to the lender, you've got to have that in a row. It's systems, it's steps, it's processes. And that's really what I want to bring to the team too, is giving you those systems, those processes and steps along. Like, okay, you don't just go buy it and hope it goes well. You've got to do much more due diligence. On a commercial property, for example, there isn't a lot of, hey, I have to disclose X or X. Like when you buy a single family house, right, Mike, you've got to disclose self-disclosure. Here, it's kind of like, you just better know who to talk to and you better figure it out, because if you don't, it could be a big mistake. So I don't want to scare people in this space, but I think as long as you follow steps and build the right team, it can be a really big win for you.
Yeah, and that knowledge that you get from this team approach to your goals, right? You have real estate goals. We're a team to help you achieve your goals. We can go with you to Florida. We can go with you to Oklahoma, with you to North Carolina, with you to Texas, whether we're physically there or we're analyzing the deal with you. And then we can look at we'll have looked at multiple deals here, I'm sure, and say, all right, why isn't the deal here that we want? Why can't I get the income here? Well, you may not get the income, you'll get the appreciation. You might want that right now, fine. But if we're looking at income, we can now use the same tool in multiple markets. So you can go, that's actually the best market for me to be in. So we can help you be your central hub of decision making, and you can use that hub to attack properties anywhere to find out what works best. I love that, and we're both willing to hop on planes and go as well. We love looking at properties.
We've kind of already been doing that, just from some deals we worked on together. So we're not afraid to do that, and we love, again, have I failed a lot through this process? Oh yeah, you better believe it. There's things I wish I could go back now and say, man, I wish I would have done that differently. But every time I take that down, I'm going to learn the next time. So that helps my clients out. Like, hey, I will tell you, here's who you got to call. You got to call the city water company and find out if you can put an extra 30 RV spots. You got to talk to the county and just find out what the rules are before you go. You don't want to close on a property and then come back and ask questions. It's through that process. And it's a lot longer process too in commercial. Don't think you're going to close in 30 days on something like this. It could be 4 months, 6 months, you don't know. But the rewards and the income afterwards, arguably is much greater, the opportunity to build something of more of a business. So that's what I'm excited to be a part of. And anything from a 1031 to a cost segregation. I know these are big words, and we'll go deeper in those, but those are all the pieces you have to look through when you're looking at commercial.
Yeah, from that level of investment in property to what is this mortgage going to look like on my first townhouse, right? Just as a first-time buyer moving into a townhouse. We both love those conversations on the full spectrum, because our love isn't for real estate. Our love is for people. We want to take care of people. We want to help you achieve your goals, and we're willing to do the work to help you get there. And we love it. It's actually fun for us. So. If you have questions, please reach out. If you have a dream, please reach out. If you have steps you want to take right now, reach out. If you have a property you're like, man, that place will never sell because X, Y, or Z, great. Let us brainstorm with you and come up with a plan to get it sold for you. Campground, an apartment complex, a single family house, whatever you've got, we would love to help you position yourself where you want to be.
Yep. Thanks for having me on, Mike. Appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Thanks for coming aboard.
Yep.
Thanks.